Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Simba production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
Oh, man, I didn't even have the mic on. So I've been getting confused because I'm hearing everything in the background. That's because I have my Thunderous Thursday is on the other thing. And I was wondering why the beat was off. You know what I'm saying? But it's broadcasting on my blog. So those that don't know, you go to Gye-Nyame.com, just Gye-Nyame.com, and you can hear all my shows is broadcast on Gye-Nyame Journey, right? Live. So you go down to the bottom of the page on the right hand side. You will see Gye-Nyame Journey Radio Show, and you can click on it. You can instant message. You can send me a message. It'll bring you right over to the thing, so you can send me a message. You can go through my library and listen to other stuff. You can like the show, like I'm going to do right now. You can share the show. You can even post it in your stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. Help a brother out. Share it and post it. You know what I'm saying? If you like the shows, if you like what I'm doing. Now, with of course, I'm always talking about taking it to the next level, right? So now, if you go to Gye-Nyame Journey, the site, Gye-Nyame.com, on the very top, right, and you got all these little tabs up top. So if you ever want to see the official site that we're working on, and that is not fully operational yet, but you can hit on headquarters and it'll take you straight to the headquarters, and you get a lot of information. So those of you that are interested in the journey and you want to follow the history of what we've been doing here in Columbus and how we're trying to grow in the relationship with Simba and all that stuff, you can find it on the site. But also in those tabs, you got the Warrior's Handbook for Life's Journey. It's a book. It'll take you to the book that we use on Saturday. Actually, that's one of the books we use on Saturday. You got the Player's Pyramid book. You know what I'm saying? You got Gye-Nyame Journey Workbook. You got Lost Art of Storytelling. And then you got my author's page where you can see all the books that I have available, I had available at one time. I also have listing for all my show. You can go directly to Folk Tales for Grown Folks on Mile 3, which I haven't done in a while. And speaking of that, I just put the order in for my runner sandals. So this time, instead of Vibrams, I'm going to try out some runner sandals, right? And they're a lot cheaper. They provide the bottom of the foot protection, but it's supposed to be a little bit better. So, because I try to do the minimalist thing as far as the running, because when I wear those shoes, I always hurt my ankles. It just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get as close to the earth as I possibly can. I don't know how I'm going to work it out in the wintertime, because y'all know that's when I really start doing my running. So I'm going to get back on the mile 3s to make a long story short. Give yourself permission. I don't know if I'm going to start that show back up. That's going to be up to y'all. We also had a magic hour. I'm going to meet with, hopefully, Kid Magic on Sunday so we can see about that. Also offering my poetry book, Poetry is My Religion. And last but not least, you got the Gye-Nyame Journey store where you get those Gye-Nyame tings. Yeah, I said tings. I ain't say things. You get those Gye-Nyame tings, right? Support the journey, because the money that you spend on us, because I don't like just asking people for donations. If you want to go to the tip jar, you can find the tip jar on registration. You go to Gye-Nyame headquarters, the very first tab, click on that. You go all the way down to the bottom and say registration. You can register. You get registered. You get its benefits for each level. There's also a free level, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a free level as well. Okay. Also, there's a tip jar. If you just want to tip for what we do. And you can also be one of my sponsors or one of my patrons. I gotta start working a Patreon page, but you also can support me on YouTube as well. As a matter of fact, go to YouTube and follow Gye-Nyame Journey as well as Hatim Gye-Nyame on YouTube. All right, now on to what we have to do today, because I'm still struggling with getting off smoking. But one of the things that I found that helped me is I've been doing a lot of teaing. I'm making tea, and the major tea that I'm working on right now is chaga. Before I started the challenge to get rid of smoking, I was on the moringa, which my elder Gaylord introduced me to. I'm going to get back on the moringa, but right now I'm real heavy on the chaga, so expect some articles about the chaga and different way to use it. I'm also using a lot of coconut oil, I'm going to expect some articles on that, that's like brain fuel, you know what I'm saying? And so my body is doing a lot of adjusting. I don't know how long it's been since I had any smoke. I was sitting over at the smoke shop the other day. I wasn't feeding. I was just sitting over there because a lot of times I don't have the space to work at home unless my kids are sleeping. This was early in the day. My kids wouldn't sleep. I needed to make some runs, but I wanted to stop and peruse and see what was going on the internet, because like I said, I got to get back into my pattern of work after Simba, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, for me, it's kind of like a letdown when I come back to this world. And I know that's kind of hard for some of y'all to understand, because like I said, I see what's possible, and I come back to this. All right. So now, Thunderous Thursdays, it's like this is just a show that I could use to get up here, freestyle, or do whatever I want to do, but I'm not going to freestyle. There was something that I started out of Simba camp, Simbaland. I'm in Simbaland, and it's July 4th, and from July 3rd to almost July 6th, the people of the town that we were in, Dixon, Illinois, were crazy about 4th of July. I mean, every night there was something going on from the 3rd to the 6th. And I decided to do a Frederick Douglass speech on the 4th of July, but then I started doing research, and I found that there's a whole bunch of different speeches. So one of the things that I'm going to task myself to do is to every now and then to read some of these speeches from my ancestors, so that we can look at the year, we can look at what's happening there, fast forward to today, get what wisdom we can from it, and maybe even develop our own speaking style by listening to these individuals speak. So now, today, the person that we're going to be listening to, or y'all going to be listening to me read, first off, I'm getting this from blackpast.org. All right? blackpast.org. So if you're interested in any of these speeches and reading them for yourself, you go and you can check them out on blackpast.org. If you go to Unknown Free Black Authors Describe Slavery, the one I'm doing today is an unknown free black author that describes slavery, and all you gotta do is look up speeches, you know what I'm saying? So we are about to kick it. Now, I read a little bit of this, but I didn't read it all, so we may be in for a shock. This was written in 1789 by a West Indian brother who received his freedom, supposedly, because we all know, hopefully we know by now, that you can't be given your freedom. You know what I'm saying? Freedom is something that you are either born with or that you take. Freedom can never be a gift from one man to another. You know what I'm saying? If a man is giving you your freedom, that man could take it from you. Always remember that. Your freedom is something that is innately yours. And when somebody could give it to you, that means they could take it from you. You know what I'm saying? So the piece that we have to remember as African people is that nobody can give us our freedom. You know what I'm saying? Freedom is something that you are born with. Freedom is something that is, in a sense, that's a birthright. And if you don't claim it, and if you don't stand up for it, and if you don't take it, and if you don't defend it, you don't deserve it. All right? So we're going to get into some of our ancestors talking about some of that. I'm going to find some other speeches, some other places, because there's some other people I want to do. I want to find some more Marcus Garvey speeches. Those of you that have access to some more Marcus Garvey speeches, please hit me up. If y'all have any speeches from any, because one of my elders made a request and I read it, and I don't know what happened to it. I hope it popped up because I was out in the woods, and I might have to go back and read it again. But if you have any requests, please let me know. If they're long, realize that the way I sleep, I may fall into a sleep because I know I fell asleep on reading one of Martin Luther King's speeches, Forgive Me, Ancestor. I fell asleep on Frederick Douglass a little bit, Forgive Me, Ancestor. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to bear with me, all right? Because I'm pushing through this, and especially now at nighttime, y'all already know what it is, right? So I'm up on my chaga. Right now I'm doing my chaga, and I got it mixed with some of my homemade mead, some of my ambrosia. I call it Gye-Nyame ambrosia. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the businesses I'm going into. I'm looking at the brain fuel. I'm looking at chaga. I'm looking at the skin care. I'm looking at the hair care, which are all things that black folks buy. We love buying liquor, so I'm figuring, hey, why not learn how to make it myself and at least be able to get somebody a healthy buzz? This mead, when you really read up on it, you read up on the uses of honey and all the stuff that it can do and what it can produce. I'll get you a buzz, and you could be so you could get drunk and get healthy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's a healthy buzz. You know what I'm saying? Brain fuel. You know what I'm saying? Creating my own product that is a brain fuel. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing research on some of these fats that the body, that the brain especially can burn, because I'm finding out that that the brain burns sugar, but there's a certain property within fats like coconut oil and palm oil that the brain can burn as well. And as a matter of fact, they have found that by adding coconut oil to your diet, right? By adding coconut oil to your diet, it may prevent Alzheimer's, and it also has been shown in some studies to have positive effects on individuals with Alzheimer's that started taking this things like this. So I'm looking for different combinations. I'm also looking at a brand of chaga, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, all these products is products that we use, products that we need, you know what I'm saying? So why not go and produce them? You know what I'm saying? Why not go and produce them? You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I'm about nation building, right? So now, not only am I doing a bookstore, in a minute I'm gonna have me a meadery. I'm gonna be importing me some coconut oil, some palm oil, some shea butter. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to do something for our hair. You know, we got a special hair. You know what I'm saying? That we really got to learn how to take care of and inspire our black women to wear their crowns with pride. Give them the products where they could do that. Set up some classes in almost every city. I mean, be able to connect people with that's doing natural hair with more people so that we can start showing off. Because I want to show you how powerful we are. Because one of the things I want to be able to do, I want to do like the Indians, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to cut off our hair at the barbershop and have people flocking trying to buy our hair so that they could put it on wigs and sell it. I want to be able to sell our hair. And I know y'all think that sounds crazy, but that's how powerful we are. If we put our minds to it, not even put our minds to it, if we just start wearing our natural hair, especially women. Y'all start wearing your hair and start styling it up and freaking it out and having people look at it going, ooh, they gonna pay us for our hair. They don't be trying to buy it. You know what I'm saying? And people, instead of us paying to look like others, we'll have people paying us to be like us. That's what they do already. And all we got to do is eliminate the middleman. Let's eliminate the middleman. The whole world is trying to be like us. I'm saying let's eliminate the middleman. You know what I'm saying? We don't need anybody representing us. We don't need anybody selling our culture. We'll sell it directly ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You want to know about palm oil? You want to know about coconut oil? You want to know about shea butter? Come to us. If you're buying it from anybody else, that's a violation. You know what I'm saying? You want to know about some of this chaga, some of these other things that we researching? Come get it from us. You know what I'm saying? You want to know about the way we do yoga and break, you know what I'm saying? We need to control our culture. You know what I'm saying? From hip hop to the way we eat, to the way we dress, to the way we wear our hair. You know what I'm saying? And those that don't accept it, and those that don't love it, and those that disrespect it, need to be checked. Or need to just be eliminated from the culture. Not eliminated from life, but going out there and you want to wear those wigs and stuff like that. You want to wear those contacts. You want to act in the way you want to act. Stay out there. Stay away from us. Stay away from our children. We got to be bold enough to say that. So now I'm about to get into this speech. This is an unknown free black author described slavery in 1789. So I want y'all to pay close attention. I'm going to move the mic a little bit, so if you hear some sounds, that's me. I'm scooting my computer up because it's real small, and of course, you know, when it's real small, back in the day, we don't got nothing on them back in the day, because when they wrote a long speech, they wrote that by hand. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, we typing it in. So let me take a sip of this chaga and mead mix. So refreshing. Let me do that again. I taste a little coconut oil in there too. That brain food. That brain fuel. When you need to think, man, take you a cap full of that coconut oil. I'm also looking at fermenting right now. You know what I'm saying? So we might have our own brand of pickles and relishes and stuff like that coming out, because we really need to look at the benefits. Because I'm thinking that a lot of stuff that we're missing in our diet, we may be able to get by using some fermented foods, by adding some fermented foods to our diet. I know some people's like, you shouldn't eat fermented foods, but you know, I like fermented foods. I like pickles. My kids like pickles. I like sauerkraut. I like pickled beets. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finding out that those are really healthy for us. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more too. So I'm going to start adding to my Google search. I'm going to start adding information about fermented foods on my timelines on Facebook and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Follow Gye-Nyame Journey on Facebook. Follow Gye-Nyame Journey. It's Gye-Nyame. It's just a Gye-Nyame Journey on Twitter. And also follow Gye-Nyame Radio on Twitter. Also, you can follow me on. You can also follow me on Google Plus. You can like me or follow me on Google Plus. That would be so dope. That would be so dope. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and hearing some of your comments about some of the stuff that we do. That will really be dope. You know what I'm saying? Because like for example, on fermented food, I just found this. I forgot to mention, studies show fermented foods may reduce social anxiety. And that's because of some of the enzymes that this food releases. Right? So I'm going to create an alert for that. So be on the lookout on my timeline where you're going to be able to get alerts on fermented food. You know what I'm saying? Show options at once a day, English, any region, only best results. Okay, create alert. All right, so we got that. So I created the alert. So you're going to get news on that and other stuff. So, hey, you know, I'm trying to be a one-stop shop and become real good at what we do. All right, here we go. So, let me make sure we still recording. All right, we still recording. We still up and popping. So before I get into the music, let me let you know.
You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Simba production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
Remember, it's Thunderous Thursdays. Get ready, cuz class is in session. I am one of the unfortunate race of men who are distinguished from the rest of the human species by a black skin and woolly hair. This advantage of very little moment in themselves, but which prove to us a source of greatest misery, because there are men who will not be persuaded that it is possible for a human soul to be lodged within a sable body. The West Indian planters could not, if they thought us men, so wantonly spill our blood, nor could the natives of this land of liberty, deeming us the same species with themselves, submit to be instrumental in enslaving us, or think us proper subjects of a sordid commerce. Yet strong as the prejudices against us are, it will not, I hope, on this side of the Atlantic be considered as a crime for a poor African not to confess himself a being of an inferior order to those who happen to be of a different color from himself, or be thought very presumptuous in one who is but a Negro to offer to the happy subjects of this free government some reflection upon the wretched conditions of his countrymen. They will not, I trust, think worse of my brethren for being discontented with so hard a lot as that of slavery. Now, nor disown me for their fellow creature merely because I deeply feel the unmerited suffering which my countrymen endure. It is neither the vanity of being an author nor a sudden and capricious gust of humanity which has prompted this present design. It has long been conceived and long been principal subject of my thoughts, ever since an indulgent master rewarded my youthful services with freedom and supplied me at a very early age with the means of acquiring knowledge. I have labored to understand the true principles on which the liberties of mankind are founded, and to possess myself of the language of this country in order to plead the cause of than who were once my fellow slaves, and if possible to make my freedom in some degree the instrument of their deliverance. The first thing which seems necessary in order to remove those prejudices which are so unjustly entertained against us is to prove that we are men, a truth which is difficult of proof only because it is difficult to imagine by what argument it can be combated. Can it be contended that a difference of color alone can constitute a difference of species? If not, in what single circumstance are we different from the rest of mankind? What variety is there in our organization? What inferiority of art in the fashioning of our bodies? What imperfection in the faculties of our mind? Has not a Negro eyes? Has not the Negro hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same disease, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same summer and winter as the white man? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you poison us, do we not die? Are we not exposed to all the same wants? Do we not feel all the same sentiments? Are we not capable of all the same exertions? And are we not entitled to all the same rights as other men? Yes. And it is said we are men. It is true, but that we are men addicted to more and worse vices than those of any other complexion. And such is the innate pervasiveness of our minds that nature seems to have marked us out for slavery. Such is the apology perpetually made for our masters and the justifications offered for that universal proscription under which we labor. But I supplicate our enemies to be, though for the first time, just in their proceedings toward us, and to establish the fact before they attempt to draw any conclusion from it. Nor let them imagine that this can be done by merely asserting that such is our universal character. It is the character, I grant, that our human masters have agreed to give us, and which they have so industriously and too successfully propagated in order to palliate their own guilt by blackening their helpless victims of it, and to disguise their own cruelty under the semblance of justice. Let the natural depravity of our character be proved, not by appealing to the declamatory invectives and interest representations, but by showing that a greater proportion of crimes have been committed by the wronged slaves of the plantation than by the luxurious inhabitants of Europe, who are happily strangers to those aggravated provocations by which our passions are every day irritated and incensed. Show us that of the multitudes of Negroes who have within a few years transported themselves to this country, and who are abandoned to themselves, who are corrupted by example, prompted by penury, and instigated by the memory of their wrongs to the commission of crimes, show us, I say, the demonstration, if he possible cannot be difficult, that a greater proportion of those than of white men have fallen under the animadversions of justice and have been sacrificed to your laws. Though avarice may slander and insult our misery, and though poets heighten the horror of their fables by representing us as monsters of vice, that fact is that, if treated like other men and admitted to a participation of their rights, we should differ from them in nothing, perhaps, but in our possessing stronger passions, nicer sensibility, and more enthusiastic virtue. Before so harsh a decision was pronounced upon our nature, we might have expected, if sad experience had not taught us to expect nothing but injustice from our adversaries, that some pains would have been taken to ascertain what our nature is, and that we should have been considered as we are found in our native woods, reared not as we now are, altered and perverted by an inhuman political institution. But instead of this, we are examined not by philosophers, but by interested traders, not as nature formed us, but as man has depraved us. And from such an inquiry, prosecute under such circumstances. The perverseness of our disposition is said to be established. Cruel that you are, you make us slaves. You implant in our minds all the vices which are in some degree inseparable from that condition, and you then impiously impute to nature and to God the origin of those vices to which you alone have given birth, and punish in us the crimes of which you and are yourself the authors. The conditions of the slave is in nothing more deplorable than in its being so unfavorable to the practice of every virtue. The source foundation of virtue is love of our fellow creatures, and that the affections take its birth in social reactions of men to one another. But to a slave, these are all denied. He never pays or receives the grateful duties of a son. He never knows or experiences the fond solitude of a father, the tender names of husbands, of brothers, and of friend are to him unknown. He has no country to defend and bleed for. He can relieve no suffering, for he looks around in vain to find being more wretched than himself. He can indulge no generous sentiment, for he sees himself every hour treated with contempt and ridicule, and distinguished from irrational brutes by nothing but the severity of punishment. Would it be surprising if a slave laboring persuade himself that it would be against his nature to cherish any honorable sentiment or to attempt any virtuous action, before you boast of your superiority over us, Place some of your own color, if you have the heart to do it, in the same situation with us and see whether they have such innate virtue and such unconquerable vigor of mind as to be capable of surmounting such multiplied difficulties and of keeping their minds free from the infection of every vice, even under oppressive yokes of such a servitude. But not satisfied with denying us that indulgence to which the misery of our condition gives way so just a claim, our enemies have laid down other and stricter rules of morality to judge our actions by than those by which the conduct of all other men is tried. Habits which in all human beings except ourselves are thought innocent are in us deemed criminal, and actions which are even laudable in white men become enormous crimes in Negroes. In proportion to our weakness, the strictness of censure is increased upon us, and as resource are withheld from us, our duties are multiplied. The terror of punishments is perpetually before our eyes, but we know not how to avert, what rules to set by, or what guides to follow. We have written laws, indeed composed in a language we do not understand and never promulgated. But what avail written laws when the supreme law with us is the capricious will of our overseers? To obey the dictates of our own hearts and to yield to the strong propensities of nature is often to incur severe punishment. And by emulating examples which we find applauded and revered among Europeans, we risk inflaming the wildest wrath of our inhuman tyrants. To judge the truth of these assertions, consult even those milder and subordinate rules for our conduct, the various code of your West India laws, those laws which allow us to be men whenever they consider us as victims of their vengeance, but treat us only like species of living property, as often as we are to be the objects of their protection. Those laws by which it may be truly said that we are bound to suffer and be miserable under pain of death, to resent an injury received from a white man, though of the lowest rank, and to dare to strike him, though upon the strongest and grossest provocation, is an enormous crime. To attempt to escape from the cruelties exercised upon us by flight is punished with mutilation, and sometimes with death. To take arms against masters whose cruelties no submission can mitigate, no patience exhaust, and from whom no other means of deliverance are left, in the most atrocious of all crimes, and is punished by a gradual death, linked it out by torments so exquisite that none but those who have been long familiarized with the West Indies barbarity can hear the bare recitals of them without horror. And yet I learned from writers whom the Europeans hold in the highest esteem that treason is a crime which cannot be committed by a slave against his master, that a slave stands in no civil relation towards his master and owes him no allegiance. That master and the slave are in a state of war. Wow. And if that slave take up arms for his deliverance, his acts not only justifiably, but in obedience to the natural duty, the duty of self-preservation. I read in authors whom I find venerated by our oppressors that to deliver oneself and one's countrymen from tyranny is an act of the sublimest heroism. I hear Europeans exalted as the martyrs of public liberty, the saviors of their country, and the deliverer of mankind. I see other memories honored with statues and their names immortalized in poetry, and yet when a generous Negro is animated by the same passion which ennobled them, when he feels the wrongs of the countrymen as deeply and attempt to avenge them as boldly, I see him treated by those same Europeans as the most execrable of mankind, and led out immense curses in insults, to undergo a painful, gradually ignominious that thus the same Briton who applauds his own ancestors for attempting to throw off the easy yoke imposed on them by the Romans, punish us as detested parricides for seeking to get free from the cruelest of all tyrannies and yielding to the irresistible eloquence of an African Galagas or Bodacia are the reason and morality for which Europeans so highly value themselves, of a nature so variable and fluctuating as to change with the complexion of those to whom they are applied. Do rights of nature cease to be such when a Negro is to enjoy them, or does patriotism in the heart of an African rankle into treason? Sources: American Museum, 1789. Now, all right. So, I want to go back because, homeboy broke it down. And what's crazy is that a lot of this applies. Let's not even say a lot of it. Let's say, especially the second to last paragraph, let me go, to judge of the truth of these assertions. Because so even those milder and subordinate rules for our conduct and the various codes of your West Indies laws, those laws which allow us to be men whenever they consider us as victims of their vengeance, but treat us only like a species of living property, as often as we are to be the objects of their projections, those laws by which it may be truly said that we are bound to suffer and be miserable under pain of death, to resist an injury received from a white man, though of the lowest rank, and to dare to strike him, though upon the strongest and grossest provocation, is an enormous crime. To attempt to escape from the cruelties exercised upon us by no other means by flight is punished with mutilation and sometimes with death. To take arms against masters whose cruelties no submission can mitigate, no patience exhaust, and from whom have been long familiarized with West Indian barbarity, can hear and bear the recital of them without horror. Now, this is the one part that got me. And yet I learned from writers whom the Europeans hold in the highest esteem. Now listen, that treason is a crime which cannot be committed by a slave against his master, that a slave stands in no civil relationship towards his master and owes him no allegiance. That master and the slave are in a state of war, and if the slave take up arms for his deliverance, his acts not only justifiably, but in obedience to natural duty, the duty of self-preservation. Dude, is he talking to us? Is this 1787 or is this 2015? All right, now, so I want you to think about those words. I want them to sink in. I'm not going, I go in. I'm not going to go in. I want you to listen to this again. I want you to share it with your friends. Because what I will do is I'm going to try on a weekly basis to bring speeches. See, because we need to realize that this is not new. The situation we're in now is not new. It's been going on and on and on. And because we are not keeping the history, because we are not personalizing the history, because we don't realize that we are our ancestors, right? We keep on going through the same thing. So they change the game just enough to allow us to lull us back to sleep. But no, they can't lull us back to sleep now, dog. It's coming. It's coming. We got to wake up. We got to wake up. The world is waiting for us to wake up. The world is waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? The world is waiting for you to get on your journey. The world is waiting for you to become who you really are. We are hiding as a group, as a race, as a nation. We are hiding our light up under the bush. One of my elders said this to me. The Elder Cedric told me, and he probably heard it somewhere, but if not, he's brilliant anyway. Elder Cedric told me, he said, man, you know, it's kind of funny when I hear people talk about this thing called white supremacy, because, you know, as kids we learned that when you were supreme, you will always give somebody a head start. Like, for example, if you knew that you were the best runner, the fastest runner, you would give people a head start. If you was the best basketball player, you would handicap yourself by giving the lesser team more points. You would give them points. You know what I'm saying? You would handicap yourself. If you was playing football, you would find a way to give yourself a handicap or your team a handicap if y'all was playing street ball. You understand what I'm saying? If you are superior, you give those that you truly believe and truly know that are inferior to yourself, you give them the means and the tools to keep up with you or to be better than you. Because when you do that, you make yourself better. When I give you a head start, that means that I have to really work harder to catch up with you, right? So, you know, and I'm hearing people saying that we always throw up the brother had told me throw up the race car. I've been called racist in the last couple of weeks and all this stuff, and that shit is cool. That's you know, that's cool. You know what I'm saying, and all this. You know, I don't even mind. But let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. It's almost as if we started this race thing, or we entered this race thing, and we basically looked at the competition and we said, look, we're not only going to give you a head start, we are going to take 400 years and forget that we are even in the damn race. We're going to give you a 400-year head start. And we're going to forget that we are even in competition with all of you groups. And we're going to go to sleep. As a matter of fact, we're going to allow you to take a large portion of us away from our continent, away from our homeland, and put us in enemy territory, to put us in put us in our opponents' stadiums, whether the stadium is Europe, Western Asia, my fault, whether it's North America or South America, you know what I'm saying? Move us. Do your worst. We are giving you a head start. We are going to forget that we are even in the competition. But I promise you, when we remember, when we wake up from this slumber, it's going to be such a beautiful thing. And it's going to be beautiful for everybody. Trust me, it's going to be beautiful for everybody, right? But the point I'm trying to make is, if you are so superior, and you feel that you are so superior, why are you so upset about giving somebody that you obviously feel is inferior, you supposedly feel is inferior? Why you feel bad about giving them a head start? Why do you feel about lifting them up? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it hasn't been done. You know, so I'm thinking that we gave y'all a head start. I'm thinking that we dismantled all of our stuff in Africa. We dismantled everything. We forgot who we were. We did all this so that you can have an advantage. Maybe it got so good for us over there, we just got bored. I'm just throwing out ideas, you know, and because none of it is not making sense to me. It's not making sense to me. Because anybody that's superior, man, anybody that's superior, right? It ain't hard to prove it. We all know how you prove that you're superior, right? You do superior things. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to tell people that you're superior. You just give them a head start. It's sort of like at Simba camp, we have Pastor Curry. I stopped playing the sports against the Simbas because Curry advocates for the kids. He knows that the young folks are playing adults, and he knows that the adults in a physical sense, are superior to a majority of the young people. So what he does is that he handicaps the adults. So he'll say stuff like, that penalty is going to cost you 14 points. You dropped the pass, and I know it's second down, but I'm considering that a fumble, and Simba's get the ball. Same thing on the basketball court. You know what I'm saying? When you are superior, when you are better than someone, and you're in competition, in order to prove that you're better, you don't have to say it. You just need to show it. Dude, I'm going to give you everything that you need to beat me, and I'm still going to beat you. I'm going to give you a head start. And when I say go, you move, you be running. But no, we don't get that. All right, yo. And homeboy realized this back then. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he had to kind of, because I know some of these bros had different rules, but they didn't have the freedom to express some of the thoughts that they may have had. A lot of them didn't. This was 1789, right? So, salute to the ancestors. This is my salute to the ancestor. And Brother Hatim is out of here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good night. We're going to leave on Ashe Ashe. I forgot. Class dismissed.
You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Simba production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
Those who made the sacrifice, those who died, those whose bones lie deep in the Atlantic Ocean, those ancestors stolen from the motherland and taken to another land. We honor you. Ashe, Ashe. We honor those freedom fighters like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Mary Bethune, Nat Turner, and the thousands of others who fought, who bled, who died. Ashe, Ashe. We honor those, the unknown warriors, whose names we don't know, who fought, who bled and died for freedom. As we pour and we say, Ashe, Ashe. We honor the unborn children who will continue the legacy of sacrifice, who will fight in honor of those who fought the fight. Ashe, Ashe. We call out to those. Join the fight. Join the fight. And continue to honor those who fought, who bled, and who died. Ashe, Ashe. We pour libations and honor those who fought the fight. I get up, stand up, get up, stand up, stay in the fight. Fight with all your might. Take the time to honor those who fought the fight. Marcus, Malcolm, Martin, Harriet, Bethune, Turner. Ashe, Ashe. Get up, stand up. Ashe, Ashe. Stay in the fight. Fight with all your might. Take the time to the time to